Be your own kind of beautiful. Keep your head up, it don't matter. Don't be discouraged, it don't matter. Let the world know that it don't matter. Be your own kind of beautiful. Curvy is so beautiful, plus size is so wonderful. Being thick has benefits, I'm not your ordinary chief. I've got a lot of love to share with little short and nappy hair. Taking time to let you know I'm my own kind of beautiful. Think it's a sexy girl, don't you be ashamed. No, 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 yeah. Be your own kind of beautiful. You're so beautiful.
Hey everybody, welcome to Jamila J. Girl Talk. We're here to enlighten you. And can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hey, Lynn, how are you? How you doing today, Lynn?
Yes, I am doing great, Jamila. I am doing fine. I'm excited about the show today.
Good, good. Hold on. Hold on. So we have a very special guest today. This young man is absolute talent. I think it runs in the family. He is a musician. I don't want to say rapper, but I want to say hip hop artist. He also is involved in purifying his community, art, mural, and I just excited to hear all about his how he grew up, where he's going, where he's and everything about it. All right. So we have BuddhaChief. Now, should I call you Boo or what should I call you?
You can call me Buddha, Chief, or you can say the whole name. That's in the song. Buddha or Chief, you can say the whole name. But like I want to introduce myself though. My mother name is BuddhaChief, so I'm stepping into a whole new life of energy and love. And so I go by Buddha. I'm just a part of reinventing myself and stepping back into the music industry. The entertainment field, pretty much. A lot of people know me as Von Jeff. So like I said, it's just more so I go by BuddhaChief now as rebranding and coming back to the game.
Okay, good. Now I don't know what happened to Lay. Oh my God. I guess sometimes in New York
He's in New York also?
Weird. There you go, Lay. So we're gonna do this. So my first question is always, where do you live now? Well, go back. Where did you grow up and where do you live now?
I grew up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, and I currently live in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn.
So you've been in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn all your life?
Yeah, pretty much from 91 to 98, I lived in Flatbush, which is like a couple communities away. It's still in Brooklyn. But I've always been in Bedford-Stuyvesant. So all of my schooling has been in Bed-Stuy. I've traveled a lot. So, I've had experiences from, traveling and stuff like that. But as far as like residency, it's always been Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy.
Can you tell us a little bit about growing up in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn? Because I'm familiar with it, from Everybody Hates Chris. Bed-Stuy was the place that he, I guess he grew up too. That's where the, the sitcom was
Mm.
you know, was located. Tell us the real Bed-Stuy.
Wow. Well, the real Bed-Stuy that I grew up in, you know, born in the 80s and, born into the whole crack epidemic. As a kid, I can say it was fun because I was too young and naive to what was going on around me. It was a lot of violence, uh a lot of dysfunction going on. But as a kid, you're not paying attention to that because your parents try to shelter you from some of that stuff that's going on. So the ironic thing is what you thought was normal was not necessarily normal. When you become an adult, you realize like those was very situations that caused trauma and dysfunction. So as a child, I was raised by my moms and my grandmoms, and plus, it takes a village to raise a child. So I grew up on Lafayette, and there was a lot of other hands that had other people, families that had a hand in raising me and stuff. So it was a very fun block, as a kid playing and being outside and stuff like that. Um, but there was also a lot of drug dealing. There was, a lot of violence that was happening and stuff like that. And at that particular time, the elders, like I said, would try to shelter you as a child from some of the stuff that was going on. So it was rough. It was rough. Like I said, it seemed like a balance because, like I said, I would have fun. But at the same time, there were dangerous things that would happen that, we were being sheltered from.
Hmm. It's hard not to think of, the sitcom Everybody Hates Chris in terms of when I hear Bed-Stuy. But it seems like what happened with the crack epidemic is the same thing that happened in Oakland, Compton, all the inner cities,
Yes,
you
yeah.
know, across, probably across the world, but how it affected us as a people, how it affected us as a community. Um, it was devastating.
Yes.
It, it was devastating. It broke up families. It put kids in foster homes. It put men and women in prison. And it really was devastating for us as a community. I'm glad you survived it. I'm glad all of us that are here survived that. What are some of your best memories growing up in Bed-Stuy?
Um, some of my best memories growing up in Bed-Stuy would have to be definitely, the culture of hip hop. You know, what came along with that was like a camaraderie of friends. Like we would come together, and this is more so like towards like my teenage years. We would come together. That art form would bring us together to create. And like I grew up on a block where Big Daddy Kane is from, Disco Richie. He's from Gordon Groove. He lives around the corner. So I come from that area where a lot of that hip hop essence was cultivated. And this was around the time like of course we was young and smoking marijuana and everything and just coming together. And in the midst of smoking and hanging out, we would be impacted by hip hop, and we would like create music and stuff like that. So, and of course, like playing sports as well, so those were good times. Back then we had this thing called Jackie Rob. Jackie Robinson was like a program that was inside the school system where kids from different locations in the community would come together for sports. And what that actually did was create some sort of unity to whereas if I'm traveling throughout the neighborhood and I go to somebody's project or I'm on somebody else's block, they will recognize me from the Jackie Robinson program. And it wouldn't always
Mm.
be like, oh, he's what the kids say nowadays as an op or somebody that's the enemy or whatever. It wasn't like that back then. So there was times that you would get into altercations and physical fights and stuff like that, but that's what it was. It wasn't somebody trying to kill you and all that kind of stuff. So, and it was all a learning experience growing up. So in that aspect, there was a lot of fun. And of course, like, the fashion aspect,
Yeah.
wanting to look, dress a certain type of way, be in the latest trends and everything. Um, having a fly girl and all that kind of stuff. So that's what it was. Best style. I consider ourselves to be trendsetters in a lot of ways. Also Smith and Wesson. Tech is like live a couple of blocks away from me. Tech from Smith and Wesson. And that whole era brought in the whole Timbs with the fatigues and all that kind of stuff. So Timbs and fatigues to us is like what the Dickies and the Chuck Taylors is on the West Coast.
Okay.
So that was cool. Like back then.
New York is rich with so much culture, fashion, music. I mean, I'm just smiling to hear, the way the positive things in your upbringing. Can you tell us a little bit about something that was devastating, during the crack era?
Well, for me, the devastation, as I got older, I come to learn that the trauma that I deal with is people dying, being killed, and people going away to prison. So during those times coming up, I have an uncle. My uncle, he was heavily involved in the streets and everything. And, his generation was heavily involved in that crack era. Some of them was actually using it. Some of them was actually dealing it. And I would see like the people of his era that were friends and, lived next door to each other, like they would actually try to kill each other, and seeing that violence and just hearing, oh, this person got killed last night, this person died, this person died, this person died. You hear it so frequently that it's like after a while, it's like I became numb to it. And then my friends that's of my generation, some of them used to, we'll be hanging out and then, they'll probably try to go do a robbery. And sometimes it was more so just for like, because I didn't know what was going on in a certain friend's household. Maybe their parents wasn't providing to a certain level. So they will actually go out and try to provide for themselves. And next thing you know, you don't see a friend for 5 years, 6 years, sometimes 10 years, because they ended up going to jail or some friends even got killed. So that impacted me in a way where I really didn't understand it, because at this young age, it's like I'm looking at this as my neighbor and his family, when they go food shopping, they pick up little cookies for me and all that kind of stuff. But here it is, y'all feuding with each other. So I got a connection to this neighbor, but then again, this neighbor and one of my relatives is feuding with each other. So it's like as a child, you don't really understand those dynamics, but it pulls you in a direction to where it's like nowadays they look at it as like choosing sides. But if you looking like we a village and this is my neighbor, this is like someone that's close to me, I didn't understand that type of dysfunction. So that was just huge for me, back then with the death and people going to jail and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Lay, welcome back. You kind of was missing the action. We're here talking to BuddhaChief Van. He grew up in Bed-Stuy, and we're talking a little bit about how he grew up and during the crack era.
What's going on, Lay?
To you in a minute.
There you go.
Yeah, I had to switch phones and from my phone to the computer, and I had to focus and get that right. Hey, BuddhaChief, what's happening, man?
What's
I'm
going
from
on?
New York. I heard you ask earlier where I was from. I'm from New York. I'm mostly in the Bronx, but I hang in the Bronx and also Harlem, and I will come to Brooklyn when they have something good going on.
Okay. So we're community neighbors.
Yeah. Let me give you a little introduction of what I do. I do variety. Well, I wear a variety of hats. I manage artists, models, actors, and designers.
Okay.
I have a clothing line, and I'm into property, things of that nature. Just give you a general idea. But
And he's my co-host.
I am definitely the co-host of the show.
That's the most important title. Everything
That's
else,
right.
you know.
And
But this
I
hour,
like
he's
that
my
synergy.
co-host.
I like that synergy though. You on the West Coast and he's on the East Coast, so y'all, I like that.
That's
synergy.
right. You know,
Yeah,
we have to lock down the whole country, man.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean? We got to spread and advertise and promote and interview brothers like such as yourself, and also sisters, letting people know who you are. And this is why Jamila got the show, and it's basically a good show.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for
I
having me.
heard you have a
Yeah.
lot going on, man.
Yeah.
How did you get into rapping?
Rapping was more so like a hobby. You know, growing up. So I grew up in intervals with people who were like 2 to 4 years older than me. So by the time I was like, let's say 7 years old, my cousin, he's 9 years old, and his homeboy is 11, 12 years old. So these are the people that I grew up around and hung around and stuff. So, and just seeing like I said, I grew up on a historical block where Big Daddy Kane and Disco Richie are from. You know, Black Moon used to hang on my block and everything. So just seeing that around, and you know, us just young men just gravitating towards the culture, the hip hop as a hobby and a talent.
When did you really start taking it serious?
Serious, I'd say 10 years ago, as far as trying to like actually put together projects and stuff.
Okay.
So hold on, let me ask you this though. When you say serious, what do you mean by serious? Like actually trying to pursue a career in it?
Yeah.
Actually trying to pursue a career in it, I would say a year ago.
Okay.
I would say a year ago. So as far as having the talent to
what
do
have
it,
you have been doing? So you know that. Yeah. Do you have a catalog? Have you did any events? What have you been doing?
so I've been behind the scenes. So a little bit of my background is director A&R for MTV2 Monday Night Fight Club. That was a rap battle show that was on MTV2, like what I've been developing and scouting talent for the show. So prior to that, I've been in music videos, just in being involved in the culture. So when I say like 10 years ago, I did a mixtape. That was the first mixtape that I actually put together a cohesive project, and I just put it up on SoundCloud. So that this month actually makes 10 years since I actually created that project, and that project has several songs off it, and a movie executive produced by Alicia Keys. The film is called Inevitable Defeat of Mr. and Pete. So I just put that on SoundCloud, but now I'm actually doing a 10-year anniversary of that mixtape, and now I'm pushing it with today's technology and resources, digital resources.
Oh, that's
You know, speaking of rap and being an artist, I want to share something with you guys. We were gonna wait, but Lay, you do what you do, so I got to do what I do.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
check
we
it
want
out.
to just dive in it, and let's get it out. Let's get them
Yeah.
open up. We got to get them out there. Let's see what how creative and things he is in the industry.
Asshole,
but the way he
cocky
talking,
and he arrogant. But me, I got aggression, won't spare you
There
any
you go.
embarrassment. I'm from a well-known establishment, best styles my garrison. Fuck the world attitude, exude sexual harassment. Point blank, period, straight up, suck my obelisk. Movements covert, but I'm getting money that's obvious. Tupac style, middle finger to photographers. Things that were the same, some scenes of mind boggle years. I'm thankful for the class I weigh in, the Lord is amazing. Niggas swore they caught me sleeping, not knowing that I was praying. So many paths to riches, foundations I pave them. Niggas never put in work, expecting for me to pay them. I made my name in the hustle game, selling chocolate blacker than Biggity. The plan was to get money, so me and my niggas figured we keep our hands holding that fire statue of liberty. They killed my cousin John, and I'm still not over higgity. Acting like Johnny Depp when I really wanna blow. My life's at a fork in the road. Which way I'm gonna go? Had convos with Jason 45 phones ago. What I did with that white girl, only riders like Winona know. On the low, high rollers in your circle ain't round, cause on the up and up, to lay you flat, they shooting you down. Heartbeat, hammer clap, that's a musical sound. Over that bass, start trembling on mutual grounds. Now, this is the rant, I got some shit on my chest. Check my reference. Do your research by Vaughn Jefferson, my preference to represent me. Dead presidents, I'm excellent. Riding OT, bumping that vexcellence. To be enthusiastic, you was act enthusiastic. Whether mixtape or album was recorded is a classic. Tracks get body. I get open as closed casket for these cats. It's a rap. I'm passionate about this rap shit. Passenger rider shotgun. She ratchet, strapped with a ratchet. You hard rock. What's underneath the surface, she gon' scratch it. Since you got an itch in the cinch, she gon' clap it. Now you look so innocent, like a baby in the basket. Fetal position, front your door. War tragic, stacking capital was natural. Call it the force of habit. Back and forth traffic across the atlas. The cloth I'm cut from, you can't pay the cost of fabric. Businessman like Irvin Johnson when ballin', they call me magic. If you looking for some food, I can help you. Call me Zagat. Review the menu, Von Valley. With the salad, we could cater venues. We the best like DJ Khaled. Mr. 1700, more food than the banquet. New attitude when I'm walking out the banquet. Speaking your mind, I ain't the one to be frank with. Get out of line, hit you with some shit that make a tank flip. Bottom line, dollar sign, yen, and them Frank chips. Talking Frank, I'm Lucas and Matthews mixed with Frank Mick. Rumor has it, these bitches bragging that I ain't shit. I go slow like Hancock, but can't stop, I came quicker. Adrenaline rush like Jason Statham on that crank tip. $1 million baby gross net, Hillary Swank swish. Listen, what's been missing? Got you feeling so anxious to see the bigger picture. Basquiat couldn't paint this anguish. What you smelling is that Angus. Aston Martin parking on Van Buren in the vanquish. Currently, my currency converts to slang language. When you overseas getting bread, it ain't the same.
All right, all right. The rant. The
All
rant.
Let me ask you a question. What made you play that one? I like
Huh?
that. I like that one. But what made you play that one?
Why did I play it?
Yeah, the rant.
Because why did I play it? Because it's a part of you, and I wanted to talk about where did that come from.
Oh, okay.
You
Well,
know,
I want to thank you for playing that one because it's different when you play something with a beat. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to listen to it as far as like flowing to the beat and everything. And, you know, the beat can take away from the lyrics sometimes, or the lyrics can take away from the vibe of the beat. But there, with that one that you played, I appreciate that because, like, you get to really focus on what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah. Where did that rant come from? I like the other song. I'm gonna play that too. But I think, when you talk about, I don't even see you as a more. I don't know the difference between rap and hip hop, but whatever they playing now is junk. And what I heard with the rant is something real, and it's
I appreciate
something
that.
that maybe other artists want to say but can't say it, or they're afraid to say it. It's not financially feasible for them to really speak from the heart. That's why I played it.
No, I
Yeah,
appreciate that. I
yeah.
appreciate that.
So tell us a little bit about the rant.
Um, so those lyrics is something that I had like it's old to me, but it's new to the listener. Like I had those lyrics. Oh, I don't even know how long I had it, but it's been a couple of years that I've had those lyrics. But I wanted to do like I consider myself an artist, you know, so I wanted to create a visual art piece to go with the lyrics. So that's why it's like it's not necessarily me performing the
Right.
lyrics in the video. You know what I'm saying? I want people to get a feel of the visuals. I want you to get a feel of my voice. I want you to feel the flow. I want you to actually look at the content, the lyrical content of what I'm saying. You know, I really
Right.
wanted people to focus on those areas. So that was the first piece that I actually recorded when I went back into the studio recently. Um, and like I just wanted that to be like an art piece within itself. Like the visuals is like me within my community. Um, and just the wordplay. So the lyricism of that song, like I really wanted people to identify with that. Like, okay, he's talking about something. There's substance in it.
Yeah.
Punchlines, metaphors, the flow. you know, the whole lyrical content and everything. That's what I really wanted to display with that.
We don't hear that anymore. You know, we don't hear it anymore. Lay, you got some feedback on that?
I think that was good, because basically, you know, he's
Thank
showing
you.
like, you know, where he's coming from, different sceneries of the area. He even touched on certain artists that he liked, like Tupac and stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of that point out, and it also showed that, you know, a lot of his lyrics is substance.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
the word.
Important. A
That
lot
is
of people
substance.
don't,
Yeah,
have
substance.
substance, and his presentation is good.
Yeah,
Thank you. And that's what I
yeah.
want to. That's what I want to bring back, though. You know, so like when you say, Jamila, that it's not out there right now. It's out there, but they're not making it mainstream. You know what I'm saying? It's like you really don't hear it on the radio, or like when you turn
Right.
on, like people don't really turn on the TV anymore. It's like most of the phone devices and YouTube and stuff like that. But that's something that I would love for it to become mainstream. As far as like, okay, and one thing, this is recently somebody was telling me this. They said women love lyrics and women love substance in music. You know what I'm saying? Of
Yeah.
course, they may like the drill beats, they may like the vibe of it because they make the dance and move. But women really want to hear something of substance. And I was like, okay, so maybe I got a good lane with that.
But
Yeah, that's good. So let me ask you a question. So you independent?
Yes.
That's it. Are you planning on staying independent?
I'm trying to go as much as I can. So independent music wise. So let me just, because I do a little bit of a lot, and I don't want to jump out of context with the flow of the interview. So recently, right now I'm doing a GoFundMe. So the GoFundMe is more so for the docuseries I'm working on and the murals that I've been curating in the community. So the stuff that I'm doing now is all out of my pocket. The docuseries, the murals, the music, everything that I got going on is funded solely by me.
Yeah,
However, life, bills, I'm a dad, all this stuff is real life stuff that happens outside
But
of.
we haven't even talked about the docuseries. But before we go there, in the mural, you said something about women and the music they love. Can I play the one I like?
Yes, please play. But let me just finish the statement though. So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
as far as being independent, I am independent, you know, but the fundraising is more so for me to continue the projects that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer your question, yes, I am independent, but I am actually looking for some support.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think honestly, I think the route you're taking is good, and I think right after this show, you probably get a lot more support. You know, a lot of artists coming up trying to go independent. Even Bobby Murdoch, he trying to go independent, but being that the industry don't want him to do that, but he doing it anyway, which is a good move, because you know guess that you know people get tired of giving other people their money that's not really doing anything.
Not really doing anything, right?
You know what I mean? It's gonna take a minute, you know, but you on the right track.
So when you say going independent, can you just educate us on being independent opposed to being with a record label? And then can I play my record?
Yeah, well, going independent is like what he just explained. You know, he doing everything himself.
Yeah,
and
opposed to having a record label that will front you money,
right?
And you'll be a slave to them, basically.
Right, exactly. Because all that money they give, you got to give it back, and probably interest and stuff on it.
Yeah.
So you never pay them back.
It's like a sharecropper.
To some degree, you compromise your integrity too. They may not want you to talk like the rain. They may not want the songs that I'm delivering. They may want to try a whole different angle. And once you tied to certain entities, they may not like what you represent, or they may want to change what you represent when they came to you initially for you being you.
Right.
You know, that's like a person going to try to direct you in a certain direction and don't even come or even grew up or not even from where you from.
Yeah.
It won't work.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna play, you know, the songs that ladies like. I'm a lady, so I'm gonna play
Jamila,
this.
what is the fan saying? Could you put it on?
I do or die, I choose to live. Make my name without killing or doing nothing. Remember back in the days when you was a kid, parents had to make you and put food in the fridge. What we know now, imagine if we knew then. It takes one mindset and still the two men to make the blend together. What crack ties shattered. One of the many reasons we say black lives matter. If you don't understand his context and clarity, in case you can't fathom blatant racial disparity, don't need handouts or any form of charity. Need a resurgence of black solidarity and black on black crime. You know we gotta stop. My belief started with war and drugs and hip hop. Let's do the right thing. Let's murder some wrong things. What if King Kong heard of Kong King?
Yeah, the hooks are good.
See uncles and aunties, indigenous to villages, eating in the palm trees, both family photos, homes I tag you, unified movement, box and tips and
Do we have the video on that?
Not yet.
Okay.
Any further than chill. My mom's know your pops. How am I? I went to the same junior high, I live right up the block. So my right hand man, leave my cousin alone. She's a teenager, even though she looked grown. My uncle came home after doing a stretch, looking like the 9-5 version of Trash. Deep with the roots, stronger than family tree. Call me the chief, turning over beliefs. What's beef? Beef is insanity, please. My house talking ill niggas, leave the name on the lease. To say the least, we out here doing the most. The more relative distance should make us close. Feel the vibe, vibrate to the sound. On the same frequency, two niggas try to grind.
Yeah, that's like that unity thing.
That Queen Latifah joint.
Right. Yeah, I see why Jamila like that.
I like that. I love that. I love that. Did you write that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, that
Yes, I
is.
did.
I love it. I love it.
Now,
But see, that
Okay.
song right there, that's, huh?
You're very creative, and that's a good thing.
Thank you. That's the song that I'm building up to, though. That's the song that I'm building up to, because like everything I'm doing now just to build momentum and get you know, the fan base behind me and wake people up. Like, you know, I'm back recording. But so right now I'm going through paperwork as far as clearing samples and all that stuff right now, because that's a for one, it's a Edo G sample, which he sampled from the original sample slips me right now, but and plus the UNITY's interpolation from Queen Latifah. So all of these, so when people understand the business of this music stuff, all that stuff has to be cleared when it comes to like masters and publishing and all that kind of stuff. So
how long did it take you to get that cleared?
No, I'm in the process now. I'm still in the process of getting it cleared.
Yeah.
So for one, I'm grateful that Edo G actually likes it. And the Bohannans. So the LG sample from the Bohannans, and he passed away, but his kids took over the estate, and his kids heard it, and they actually gave me the green light to move forward with it. So being that I got those two approvals from the actual artist and the artist estate, I'm cool with that, but I'm still going through the channels of you know, clearing it, the paperwork as far as I can really move forward with it. But I don't want to just hold the record back, because the messaging is bigger than anything to me. You know what I'm saying? We dealing with stuff on a daily basis where it's like we can't hold that type of message back. So you over there on the West Coast, you in the Bronx, I'm in Brooklyn. We need that type of message out there so we can have the dialogue behind it. There's so many social commentaries in that record that we can have dialogue for days off with one record. And the feeling of it, you know what I'm saying? That nostalgic feeling would definitely raise the vibrations of a lot of people.
It's like real music when I heard it. It's like, Lay, you got to hear this. I called him and I played it for him. And it's like, it's real hip hop, you know, it's not the mess we hear on the radio. It's a good feeling. But Lay, you want to read the comments from the audience?
Yeah, where is it? That's I was waiting.
You can't see it? It's right here.
I don't see it.
You don't see it? Okay. So we have Sky. Hey, Sky. Sky is in the house.
Let me see it. Let me see the message.
I don't know how to let you see it. I can see it. You know what? I don't know how.
You did it last time.
I can see it. It's right here.
Go ahead and read them.
Okay. So Sky is saying, please share. Sandra Smith. Hey, Sandra. Thank you for watching. She said, hey, Queen. I always have what you are doing. I always love what you do. Keep up the good work. God bless. God bless you too, Sandra. She's doing a play. I think, Sandra, you're doing fences, right? In the Bay Area, in Oakland or San Francisco. Sky said, hey, family. She said she said she loved the Curve. She loved the magazine. Let me let Buddha.
Yeah, get the magazine up there. Let people see the magazine.
Okay, Lay. I only got 2 hands. We'll get to the magazine at the end. But I did let everybody know the magazine is ready finally, and anybody want to purchase
order the magazine and read my article.
Read your article.
This magazine is on fire.
It's on fire. And Sky says, please share this broadcast. Sandra said, amen to that. And then we have Karen. Hey, Karen, how are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for coming by. Karen is saying good afternoon. Tyrone's in the house. 10 Alive. Hey, Tyrone, how are you?
10 Alive.
It's in the house. He says good afternoon. Jamila J. Choice. Good afternoon, Tyrone Hicks. And Sky is saying hello, Queen. Jamila J is the truth, inspiration, and soul. And just a few comments going back and forth. Let me just see. Tyrone said, "What up, brother Lele? What up, brother Lele?"
You know what time it is, Ty. Don't come back to New York no more, man. Yo, man, I love brothers coming from out of town and hanging out with me and stuff like that. But when they come from different states and come here, they don't want to go back home, man.
Well, you know what? Last time the birthday, Tyrone, so you know, hey, you have a big party, so maybe
brothers came from out of state. We hung out. A couple of days they stay here. Then, man, I gotta take them back so they could leave because they don't want to leave, man.
Tyrone said, miss you, bro. And he said, facts. He said he's coming to your party.
Oh, listen, my party is on the 17th. And matter of fact, the brother from Brooklyn, you invited if you want to come.
Yeah.
Okay, send me the information.
It's going to be off the hook.
Yeah.
A lot of people going to be there from Atlanta. They coming up. Jamila J going to be in the house. We going to flick it up. I done got a cameraman, the whole 9.
Nice.
All gonna be there.
Yeah, share the information. I'll pull up.
Okay.
Yeah. Tyrone said,
hey, Jamila, send him the flyer.
I will. I sent it to David too.
So that's the event he told me. That's the event he told me about. Okay, he said that you was coming up for an event.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Tyrone said, I still want my trophy. I don't know what that's about, but That's between you and Tyrone.
What's your man? The only trophy you're gonna have is the Amtrak going back home.
All right. Tyrone said, "I'm coming." All right, back to the interview. Excuse us. Buddha.
I love the energy of this show. I love the energy of it.
Man, we have the energy. This is the best streaming that gonna be out.
So, now we talked a little bit about your music. Now we want to talk about the Rator. Tell us about that, the murals and how you started with that. So start from the beginning, and then I'm going to show a couple of them, okay?
Okay, cool. So this was back in 2017. I started to do like some transformation work and self-reflecting on where I've come from and where I was particularly at that particular time. I was like, God forbid something happened to me. You know what I mean? What have I done to say that I was here? And I started to think of like I had this logo before, the way I had myself in the middle of different like monuments, like the Eiffel Tower, the Sears Tower, like these big monuments and stuff like that. But I just focused on like me holding up the world, and that was like my logo and everything. So I was like, you know what? I may not be able to create a big structure or whatever the case may be, but however, I can do something that can be a remnant of my work. So I thought about, murals and impacting the neighborhood with a positive message and stuff like that. So I spoke, and I seen like a lot of graffiti that was going on in the neighborhood, and it was like the graffiti was really bringing down the property and stuff like that. So that one that you're showing right there, that particular one is the building where Big Daddy Kane is from. He was born at a different house on the block, but he was raised in that location right there. So that was one of the last murals that we curated. So my partner, Art One, he's the one that actually did the airbrush work. So the actual artwork is my vision, my intellectual property. And what I do as a curator is I get the permission from the landlords or the property owners and pretty much paint the vision of what we're going to do on the locations. And my brother R1, who's from my neighborhood as well, he would actually do the artwork. He's famous for the Jam Master J wall in Queens. He's the one that did the Jam Master J mural that's currently in the Murder Inc. Show that's being shown right now. So the first mural that I did in 2017 is the I Am mural, which is a symbol of self-empowerment and recognition that it starts with you, the individual, to make a change towards enlightenment. You must first identify who you are, believe in yourself, and uplift your self-esteem before you can attempt to make a change, influence, or empower others. So that's my motto.
Buddha?
Yeah, I think that's the one where like a girl is standing in front of it. It's like a red background, and like a young lady is standing in front of it. Not that one. That's my high school print. That one right there.
Okay, all right. Good.
So that's what it actually reads. So that was the first one that we completed in 2017. And that was, that's my motto, that's my philosophy, that a lot of people actually stop and read it. And, I guess it helps them get through their day, and that's what I truly believe. It starts with the individual, and that's towards like healing a lot of the mental health and a lot of the things that we experience in this community. Because if you're not good for yourself, you can't do anything for anybody else. Not your spouse, not your kids, not your boss. You got to make sure that you're right for yourself as an individual. So it starts with you to make that change towards bettering yourself. And that's what the docuseries had led us to. Well, these murals had led us to the docuseries because as a curator, we know the curator does inside museums, and I look at the community as my canvas. So this is why we started doing these murals, to beautify the neighborhood, preserve the culture, and just inspire people in a positive manner. So the second one is of the high school principal that you see. Actually, this is him on my shirt.
Well, Buddha, hold on. Can you read this for us again? read that, what it says, and
It
then we'll go to
says,
the next one.
I am, I am. The I am logo is a symbol of self-empowerment and recognition that it starts with you, the individual, to make a change towards enlightenment. You must first identify who you are, believe in yourself, and uplift your self-esteem before you can attempt to make a change, influence, or empower others.
I think that's good. I like your
Yeah, that's
ideology, man.
beautiful.
Thank
That's
you. Thank
beautiful.
you.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay,
I
so I'm
like
So
gonna
that
go to
was
I
the next
like
one.
the vision.
that was the first one,
Wow, that's
the first
powerful.
mural. So that's his name is Frank Mickens. He's my high school principal. To us in our generation, he's what Martin Luther King and Malcolm X was to that generation.
Mm-hmm.
The same way I'm born and raised in this community, he's born and raised in the community as well. And this image of him on my shirt, um, what I intended to do is to continue his legacy. Honestly, when I met this man was in the September of 1995, and it was God intended for me to meet him because when I left junior high school, I had certain behaviors that wasn't conducive towards productivity, and when I met him, he gave me like hope. He gave me tough love that made me realize is more out there in life and made me identify myself as a leader, as a role model, and a young black man that has a purpose in life. You know, so when he passed away, it's kind of like spiritually, he spoke to me like go go be what you are meant to be. Because I
Mm.
actually was prepared to do an interview with him before he passed away. Um, and then it's like that kind of like had like a empty feeling, like damn, like I had the questions and everything already outlined for the interview, and then he just passed away in 2009. So that was like a heavy blow to the community. What he did is in the height of the crack era, he turned around a school system and made it successful and safe. So you
Mm.
hear a lot of the school shootings and the violence inside these school systems nowadays. What he did was that he made a blueprint for a safe and successful system, especially in urban areas. By the time I got to the school, he made it was completely successful. The graduation rate was at an all-time high. I was able to get a good education the same way a lot of other kids were able to get a good education. My mom actually graduated from that school in '79 when he was the principal, when he was the basketball coach for the school. So it's community, it's a lot of camaraderie that comes from this from where I'm from. So like going to that school, it was definitely meant for me to go there. So even my Instagram is Von Jeff _ Frank Mick. So I've taken on his name is Frank Mickens, but I took on Frank Mick and I spell it FRANCMICK. And I took on that the same way how um you know Rick Ross the rapper took the Rick Ross, the real Rick Ross name, or the same way how Curtis Jackson took 50 Cent. These are people that they may have looked up to, but I look up to Frank Mickens as a positive influence in my life. So it's more about like carrying on his name and his legacy. And I
All
spell it
right.
FRANC because I'm about economics and wealth trends and stuff like that. So that's why I spell it. And Frank was a currency over in the UK, a form of currency in the UK.
Mm.
I
All
didn't know
right.
that.
All right.
And there we have the Bed-Stuy landmark.
Mm.
So the B is for beauty, the E is for economics and education, the D is for divinity, the S is for symbols, the TU, those two words go together because tu in Spanish means you.
Mm.
So at the top of the T, we have the Igbo word called Kwusi, KWUSI, and it means to stop or abolish. That's the
Mm.
north. That's the northeastern Nigerian word, and it means to stop or abolish. So down the shaft of the T, we have things that we want to see stopped and abolished in society, such as systematic oppression, gang violence, gun violence, racism, systematic oppression. Things of that nature. The you on the you is different ways of being, such as, so the you represents you as an individual or us as a collective. So we have different words on it and ways of being, such as righteousness, open, honest, loving, caring. So there's a few different words on there that, as long as us as a community, as society, or we, if this is how we're being, we can, thrive and move forward in a loving manner. Um, the Y is for youth. So you see, images of the on the letter Y. So
Kids and
this
stuff like
location right here is that's what we call our landmark. So even if you look above it, there's like, so the whole wall is pretty much used because that's on the side of a supermarket. Our intention is to go higher up and do more art, because even now, there's some open space on graffiti. Like some people even did graffiti like on this a little bit. So on a you see the mirrors on a you. So that's basically for you to look in the mirror at yourself. So that's why we put the mirrors on the you. And that's part of why we actually doing why I'm doing the fundraising, because I would love to complete complete that wall with artwork and murals.
that's good.
That's
You know,
amazing.
like I
You are
said, I
amazing.
love your vision and your ideology.
Thank
Hmm.
you, thank you.
You are amazing. Um, you are very amazing. Tell us about the docu-series. You mentioned it, but take it from the beginning so that people will really know, you know, what you're doing and why.
So with the docu series, um, and it's called The Curator. I spell it TheCurater. And that's just basically like considering of someone that's born in the 80s, where I have a relationship with the older generation as well as the younger generation. And being born into the crack era, I've seen firsthand how it has impacted our culture. You know what I'm saying? And there's some things about it that I've come to learn that it's not just by chance that this has happened to us as a people. This is definitely systematic warfare. Um, and I just wanted to tell our story in a manner where that's like this, right? Prior to the crack era, there were other drugs. You had heroin, you had coke, you had marijuana, you had different things. But there wasn't rampant black on black crime and killing and stuff like that. This is the information I got from older people when I talked to them. It wasn't until this crack drug came around where we just lost ourselves in a way that we can't even explain. So with this docu-series, it's touching on the traumas and the illnesses that we've experienced. However, we're not still on the issue. We're moving forward with a remedy and, for lack of better words, a cure. Cures don't come overnight. So this is why it's a docu-series, because it's going to take some time to really put this in our people's faces and actually see some results over time. So by the time, I'm gone and left this earth, this docu series will still be here and can be an example of how to move forward as a culture and continue to better ourselves. So the whole name and the project came about. I've been wrote a treatment for this. So the production people that's actually assisting me with this is called Honeysuckle Magazine. And what I presented to them was something that I wrote years ago. The title of it was called Born at 33. So I actually wrote it before I was 33. I'm 41 years old now. Um, so when they actually read it, they was like, "Wow, this is amazing." And after having a couple of meetings, it actually grew into the curator because of what I was doing with the murals. And my homeboy was like, "Yo, you like a curator, bro? What you're doing in the community? That's what you're a curator." But due to hip hop and the wordplay, I broke the curator into Curater. Not saying that um um I'm I can clinically diagnose anybody or anything. I don't have like no degrees behind me and all that kind of stuff. I'm just a person that God made me a certain type of way, where I've always been a people's person. You know, I go based off my feelings and my experiences, and I see how the world around me has changed, and I don't agree with everything. So I'm just doing the work that God has intended for me. You know what I'm saying? You've seen some people that may not they may be in a crisis, never flown a plane before, but they'll make sure that plane land enough for people to get to the ground safe, and they never took no schooling. So I don't necessarily need a degree to say that I know a direction of how us as humanity can get back to that love essence of what we used to be, that we once used to be.
Are you part of the 5% of nation?
No, I'm not. But
have you studied
growing
anything
up,
from them?
here and there, growing up, my friend's dad, he was a part of that. So growing up, he would definitely have us study the mathematics and stuff like that. So he would always like kick it to us. So I never really sat down and studied it.
Right.
I've studied bits and pieces of various religions and ways of life.
That will get to be my next question. Was you part of the Nation of Islam or the Sunni community or something like that? Or have you ever had an introduction of their belief system?
Yes. So
okay.
I've took my Shahada in 2016. And when I was reading up on Islam, I realized that I've always been this way. You know, it's not necessarily a religion, but more so a way of life. And when I was reading up on, I'm like, wow, like I've been this way my entire life. And I related to it more than anything else that I was actually reading. You know, so and at that particular time when I did take my Shahada, I was just as prior to doing transformation work.
So
you know,
are you a part of the Nation of Islam or are you part of the Sunni community?
No, I'm not. I'm not a part of. I haven't gone that deep with it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So the Sunni community or the nation?
No, I haven't gone with the Sunni community or the Nation of Islam. I haven't gone that deep as far as like.
Well, how you took your Shahada?
I went to a mosque. So my friend that I grew up with, he grew.
That's probably part of the Sunni community.
He was raised Muslim. And he took me to a mosque that he went to. And you know, the Shahada, when you actually stand up in front of, you know, everyone that's there. And so that's what I have done. And I actually went to, you know, study a few times when I went to Juma and stuff.
Right.
But I haven't like fully committed.
Okay. Well, you took your Shahada, so you know from that point on, you definitely a Muslim. Well, you've been a Muslim really way before that, but it's the people
they say we're born Muslim
that turn you from this or that. But yeah, your ideology. Now I see your thought of thinking and your ideology.
So just to touch on that, right? So like I said, my friend's father, right? My cousin's father, he was 5% Muslim. His mom, that side of the family was Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist. My father's mother, Jehovah's Witness. I was Christian in the Catholic Church. And, you know, at a young age, I felt like I was pulled in so many different directions when it comes to religion. You know, and as a young black man, it was confusing to me. You know what I'm saying? The images of what was being shown to me is a white face with blue eyes.
Right.
You know, and you know, when you go to church, you have to be a particular type of way. You got to sit perfect, and you get scolded if you're not sitting down, paying attention, and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was like I kind of pulled back, in a way, you know what I'm saying? But I've always been connected to God. That's how I got this far in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I feel He's been governing my life since day one. You know, so as I got older and I started to question and find a deeper meaning to life and existence, you know, I started to tap into different scriptures and reading and started to re-educate myself. So even now, the stuff that we learned in school, that I've learned in school, to come and find out all of that's bullshit. Majority of that is, I'm sorry, I don't mean to curse, but the majority of that stuff is BS.
Right.
is BS, because it's like, listen, you telling me that I started at slavery?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just one of the layers that's like to as a grown man to just have that narrative embedded in my head. So that's why I always pushed for people, listen, unlearn tradition and let's re-educate ourselves. There's a lot of technology, there's a lot of information out there.
Education and Miseducation by a professor named Amit Akbar, the professor in the University of Tallahassee. That's a good book to read.
Yeah, please. Matter of fact, I want to write that down.
Education, Miseducation by Amit Akbar.
How you spell that name?
Akbar, A-R-B-A-R. Akbar, Amin is A-M. A''M-I-N, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out because that's what I've been doing. I've been reading up on. See,
Yeah,
he's
a professor of psychology. This is what he specializes in, and he basically will show how brothers and sisters is basically is brainwashed.
Yeah. See, we need people that's of our culture to tell us the history. Like I read Dr. Claude Anderson's book, and it's like the school system, the DOE system. They tell you Claude Anderson is it's a few of them. The particular one I'm talking about is my apologies, slipped my mind. I'll look it up and get it to you.
Yeah.
But I know it's Claude Anderson. It's a red cover with a flag on it and stuff like that. I'll get the exact name to you. But that's what I'm gravitating towards, you know, as far as people that look like you and I, that's actually telling the history from the perspective of our people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like when you really, that's a part of the enlightenment that I'm talking about. Because honestly, we could be standing toe to toe, ready to go blows with each other. But once that DNA or that enlightenment clicks and we start to realize, like, what are we fighting for?
Right.
They don't really want that to happen to us. Because once you start unifying and start really tapping into our higher frequencies and stuff like that, it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? The power that we can bring to existence is endless.
Yeah.
Because we've already been doing it.
You was talking about earlier about the drugs and stuff coming in the community. You know, you got to understand a lot of this was already planned. And the reason why it was planned and when it was planned back in the days of Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey had one of the strongest movement in the United States. And the people that were supporting him, it was regular people from the community. Now, after the movement of Marcus Garvey, and they seen how strong we was in the community, they said, try to figure out, damn, how they get so strong and why is so much a strong movement? It's because at that time, a lot of us wasn't going to colleges. We had trades.
Trades, right. And they took that out the school system.
We had trades, everybody had a job.
Yeah.
So at that time, with all our black leaders, what we were doing, we were supporting them. I mean, we give them $20. If you got 1,000 people, give them $20. That's some money. And that's how we always were organized. So they had to come up with a plan. Back at the time of Reagan, then Bush, then Clinton. It took them 30 years to dismantle our community.
Yeah. But Ray, can you go back to the Harlem Renaissance when they put they start putting heroin into our community? You know.
Well,
even how they did the Black Panthers, how they broke down the Black Panthers.
No, listen to what I'm saying. You know, that was back in the 70s and 80s.
No, I'm talking about the Harlem Renaissance was like the 1920s.
That's Black
You
Wall
know?
Street. You talking about Black Wall Street time
but back
frame.
at that time, it wasn't heroin like it was recently.
Yeah,
Like
well,
in the
yeah, but I'm
70s,
just
80s,
saying
and the
it goes
90s.
back.
70s,
It,
80s,
you
and
know,
the 90s.
people say, "Oh,
The
black
70s
people
and
don't
the
get
80s.
together. We don't unite." But
You-
every time we do,
Umar Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
you got to listen to him.
I follow him.
You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff might be off or whatever, but the man break it down. He did his research.
yeah,
And he'll break it down to you when everything came in and how long it took them to dismantle us. I mean, this wasn't this.
but I'm saying it didn't start with crack, though. It didn't start with crack.
So as far as, like I said, like as far as me being the age that I'm at and doing the re-education, it started before the crack. It even started with dismantling the household. Dismantling the household, taking a man out of the household. A lot of these systematic programs.
That is part of the 30 years. That is all part of the 30 years. It started
before then. It started with the
years to dismantle the community. People think we discombobulated all of a sudden. No, it been a major plan, and it took 30 years under 3 presidents to do that.
But even if you go back to Black Wall Street, there was many Black Wall Street. It wasn't only Tulsa, Oklahoma. There was a few other local communities that were successful.
I agree 100% of that.
And Lay, that book is called A Black History Reader. It's called A Black History Reader by Dr. Claude Anderson.
Okay.
It's like it's a red cover that got like the flag on it. A Black History Reader.
Okay.
You know, guys, we're running out of time. I know you guys got appointments and places to go, but you know, Van, I would love for you to come back because
definitely. I like where we're leaving off at, but this conversation where we're leaving off at, this has to be more. It has to be more dialogue about this, and this is why I utilize my music as one way to communicate. The murals and this docu-series. These are my ways, even with merch, like shirts and stuff like that. I have shirts that have messages and stuff like that. So even the fashion, I'm using my talent and God-given ability to communicate exactly what we're talking about, because the dialogue has to go further than just this moment here. We touched on it, but I definitely would love to come back.
You sending out a lot of subliminal messages, and that's good. And it's dealing with substance.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
because I picked that up when you start talking about certain people.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to be an artist and you talk about certain people, that means that you follow their trends and stuff like that, like Tupac. You know, you agree with a lot of that, what he said. And Tupac is right. Tupac was really ahead of his time. Not only that, Tupac had people that was sending him books for him to read.
You know something about Tupac, and I just thought about this the other day. I kind of feel I'm empathetic towards him as a person, because he was so young and so advanced, and he got cut short. You know, he got caught up in a moment where still trying to figure himself out. Yeah. Imagine if Tupac would have been around till now, the type of person that he was. Yeah. He was in his early 20s. Like it's like it got cut so short.
Tupac was around the wrong people. If he would have been around the right people, you know, like they say, birds in the feather flock together. You cannot be in a group of people. One is a pocket picker, and the other one is a burger. They just don't get along.
But so that's a part of life. At that particular time, that's who he was around. But he didn't even get the chance to correct that, to learn from that experience. His life was taken away from him.
Right.
To learn that I'm around the wrong people at this particular time.
Right.
Well, you know what I'm saying? And this is what's happening to a lot of our culture. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
We all made mistakes. We all hung around the wrong people at some point in time, but we got a chance to actually evolve and learn from it.
Well, you know, if people notice, he was in the process of doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was in the process. You know, a lot of people don't know, you know, his father, well, his stepfather, which was in Atlanta Penitentiary, he a real powerful guy. And a lot of people were sending him books to read, and he was reading them. And when he was making a record and certain things that he sent in his record, I knew what book he read.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Now, a lot of the stuff that he was saying, you can't even buy them books in the store, because when I was in the Fed, I had rare books that you couldn't even buy. And all the books that it was dealing with facts, and these professors say these books is dealing with facts. If there's anything in there fictional or not real, they can lose their license. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he had a lot of powerful people around him that were sending them things, and he was reading it. The reason why I know he was reading it, because when he started making a song, he would have it in there. And I said, oh man, he held a pair of horses, he done read that. When he would talk about the Masonic systems and all, he read them books. You know what I mean? So they was waking him up as he was reading them books. He was waking them up, but he was ready to do a revolvement to get around the people that was on the same level with him.
But you know, Tupac
background.
But you know, Tupac,
he had a whole mass of people, and plus his background was too dangerous.
But like Tupac was coming up when I was living in the Bay Area. And I mean, every day he would get into a fight, you know, guns, and he was young, you know, like Van was saying, he was very young, and he had a lot of anger in him. And I think he felt like he had something to prove, because it was always something.
A lot of young men is like that. A lot of young men at that age is like that. A lot of young people at that age is like that. He was in his early 20s. Like that's these environments make you that way. You feel like you got something to prove, you know. But like I said, like if he had time to continue and evolve,
he would have evolved.
Man,
because he even had he was a Panther. His mother was a Panther, like I said, his stepfather.
This is what I was saying.
But he was always fighting. He was always, it was always something with him, you know.
His background.
So
background is too dangerous.
So listen, in the Get Down record, I mentioned let's do the right thing, let's murder for wrong things. What if King Von heard of Herbert Von King? So when I listen to King Von music, right, there was a part on his album at the end of it when he was just talking. He reminded me of a Huey P. Newton, one of those type of revolutionaries that if he was guided in a certain direction with that type of energy that he had, instead of aiming it towards your own people, these young guys could have been something completely different, but these environments turned them into, and it's not all their fault. Like I say, so a lot of stuff is systematic. A lot of this stuff is systematic. And then Herbert Von King is a community leader from the Bedford-Stuyvesant area. I've come to learn that. So like there's a park not too far from where I'm at right now. We called it Tompkins Park growing up, but they renamed it Herbert Von King. This is the person that has done good in their community. So with the wordplay, somebody actually thought that I was talking about me because my name is Vaughn, but I'm not talking about me. I said, what if King Vaughn heard of Herbert Von King? So if there's certain examples in these communities for the youth to follow, we not looking in that direction of negativity. That's like I always said, like if I lived in a community where my friend's father is a butcher, my relative, he owns a shop, this other person is a locksmith, or this person is, everybody has their own independent business, right? Or we have trades, like Lele was saying, we have trade skills. I'm not going outside looking for no drugs because my mind is not on trying to find some drugs to sell to make a living for myself. You know why? Because your family has something that my family needs. and vice versa. So we're doing economics and trading, and the money is being spent within the community. I'm not going outside to find no drugs to sell.
Right.
Yeah. But you guys, let's wrap it up. It's
we gotta have a part two. We gotta have a part two, Lele. We got a two.
Hey man, like when I've been gone, I read like over 1,500 books, man. And I wasn't reading no books that dealing with the urban city because I done loved that life. You know what I mean? So all we have to talk about on the subject, and my head will click this like that, and everything will come back. But me, I'm like whatever the audience is for. You know what I mean?
Speaking of the audience, let's see if there's any more comments, you guys.
Yeah.
And then, Lay, I'm gonna see if you have any final questions, and then Van, we'll see if you have any final words. We'll wrap it up because I know you guys got some things to do. And let's just see if there's any more comments. And let's see. I think Sky had a question. Sky had a question. She said, "Can you explain what it means by stems? STM. Oh, yeah, STEMS.
Stems.
Yeah, stems. I don't know if we made a reference to that.
Who mentioned stems?
I don't know. That's what Sky
When I
had
think
a
of stems,
question.
I think about like stems to the beat. Like I think about like when I asked the producer to send me the stems, that's like each individual sound in the beat when I have to get the song mixed and mastered. That's I don't know if she's speaking about that.
I think she probably is. Okay, and
Yeah, the
then
stems.
she
That's
says,
the stems.
She said, Ed OG is my friend.
Yeah, I like Ed OG, man. He has great music, man. He has great music. I came up on his music.
And she said Ed OG is one of the most humble artists in the independent, I guess, business world. And then Tyrone said he miss you, bro. Lay, Tyrone miss you. In fact,
hey, listen, man, Ty keep messing with me. I'm gonna call Erykah Badu.
Oh, Tyrone, yeah. And yeah, that's all the comments. Let's see. And Tyrone said, he said, I love your show, Jamila J. Choice. Tyrone, we love you too. And we appreciate you. And we appreciate what you're doing with the 10 of life. Let's it's almost 1:30, you guys. Let's kind of wrap it up. Van, I'm gonna give you the last word. And if you don't mind, we're gonna bless you and pray over you. But before we leave, go ahead, Lay. Do you have any final comments or any final questions?
Yes, I do. With BuddhaChief, we got a really an enlightening brother on the day. I mean, I was surprised like how he have things put together. As far as his speaking and also as far as the subliminal message.
Why are you surprised? Why are you surprised?
Well, because you speak to a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters, and they're not that deep. And if they
when I read his bio and then I looked at his music, you listen to the rant. I don't think I sent you the rant. I may have did, but his bio, his music, what he's doing for the community,
and that's good.
All that. All that is what he is,
Oh, no, Jamila.
And then when he speaks, he's articulate.
Yeah, well, Jamila, a person could do all of that. But let me tell you what this brother is doing. He putting this in he getting out messages.
He's changing the world.
Messages that he getting out. He putting it on shirts and all of that. So if a person not conscious, self-conscious, when they see that, it's gonna program right in. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know how to put that together.
He's changing the world, though.
Well, no, it's a good
from
thing.
an artist perspective.
No, it's like I said, it's definitely a good thing.
No, of course it's good.
And I definitely should salute him.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Like what you're doing.
He's changing the world.
You know, anybody that's for the community, I'm for them. I support them because that's what I do.
I know that.
We have another
comment, guys. It says Jamila Watson says she's enjoyed listening. Thank you, Jamila. We appreciate you. Buddha, I just want to ask you, are people surprised at, like Lay, he's surprised at, how articulate you are, how creative you are, and how so much you love your community, and you want to bring positivity into your community, and you love your community. Is that surprising for a Black man to be all of those things?
Well, it's some layers to that question. You mean as far as the people that I encounter, are they surprised, or just is it surprising for a Black man to be doing this?
Exactly, that's the question. Yeah, from the world's perspective, not outside of your community.
I think the stereotype that the media has placed upon us as Black people, I think it would be surprising to those individuals that just go based off the media and what school textbook history has told you. Because if you're looking at the news and just see us as heathens and just in the world doing a bunch of ungodly things, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. Yeah. So as far as people that, so let me say this, there's a percentage of people that know our true history that we don't even know. And this is why they try to keep us down. That's a whole fact. And what I'm trying to do is just trying to get us connected again via the different ways I'm communicating. So it to some people it may be surprising. I'm even surprised to an extent because I'm not the most vocal person. I'm the type of person that could show you better than I could tell you. So this is why I listen more than I actually speak. But when I do open up my mouth and you hear what I'm talking about, some people may be surprised, so I'm the type of person where like I wish I knew that I could have did it from the phone, because I would have actually went on my block and walked up the block and actually showed you live the actual murals and stuff like that, and took you to the building where Big Daddy Kane is at and everything, and showed you. I like to use facts and correlate things with, not just because I'm saying it. No, these are facts. Like, you can go to one of his songs and hear Big Daddy Kane say Lewis Avenue, the building number, and show you that type of stuff. So
what you're doing, he put an image with
right
words. Well,
putting those together.
You on the subject of Black people, so and so. Why do you think that people hate Black people so much?
Because they know our history. They know our history better than we do. This is why they change. Some people have our actual identity. When you start,
this is my opinion of why we so hate it so much. Now, let me tell you something. Like I said, when I've been going, I've read over 1,500 and something books, and all the books that I read, it was dealing with business, history, European history, African history, and so on, so on, so. So when I came home, I said to myself, I'm not going on no trip. I had people want to take me on the trips, the Dubai and all. I'm not ready to do that. Where I wanted to go was the Egypt and Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I got to Egypt, I didn't even put my bags down. When I got off the plane, got on the cab, I told them, take me to Cairo.
Mm.
Why Cairo? It's a place in Cairo that's Moses and the Pharaoh were walking the streets at, and I wanted to go there. So all the stuff that I read about, I've been there. Now, if you read history, go all the way back to history, we are the creator of the planet Earth for real. We have been the one that enlightened the world. The sister got a book out, Janet Francis, something called Stolen Legacy. And if you read that book, she said these Europeans stole it, they must give it back because it doesn't belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
This Henry Dr. Clark got a book called 500 Years of European Misbehavior. When he wrote the book, he couldn't find a name, but he was training his little grandson, which was 10, 11 years old. And he was, Henry Dr. Clark were trying to find a name. The kids say, Grandpa, what's the matter? He said, I'm trying to find a name for my book. He said, I got a name for it. He said, what's the name? The little kid said, 500 Years of European Misbehavior. Now,
amazing.
That lady that died, the queen, she going straight to hell.
That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic right there.
You know,
we had a great point in life right now, and people got to see what's going on around them.
Listen,
and this is the time. This is the time to get enlightened, and it's time to connect.
Blood. She had black blood. Her great grandmother was a black woman, and she made them take her picture down.
Mm.
Not only that, what she had done to Kenya and all of these black countries, raped them. It's all documented. All documented. That sister.
But my thing is this: what are we gonna do with this information now? What are we gonna do with this? Like
with her grandson, she did her research on them, and she know. This is why they're having a lot of problems with her. We are the truly king of Britain, Iceland, and also Russia. This is why during the time of slavery, Russia was not involved with slavery.
I went to physical therapy some years ago, right? And the doctor was he was Russian, right? And he was just asking me about what do I do as far as photography and studying history and stuff like that. And I was telling him about traveling, matter of fact, and he was like, you should go to Russia. He said there's a lot about your culture in Russia. And I looked at him like, that's Russia? Right. And he was like, yes, when you go to Russia, you'll see statues. Like if you look up at the buildings and stuff, he said you will see a lot about your culture in Russia. And I was like, wow.
The African owned Russia, the African owned Iceland, the African owned England, Britain. African owned that. It's books on that, facts. That woman that died, she going straight to hell. That's where she going.
We gotta have a part 2, Lele. We gotta definitely have a part 2.
I really don't like to.
Nah, I feel your passion though. I feel it, but this is the conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah,
this is the conversation that needs to be had though.
It really is the conversation that really be had.
Yeah,
a lot of people is not, is not ready for it.
Well, we can have it. We can have it. If you want to come back anytime,
you come back.
Man, we can have these deep conversations because I've been doing research too. Like I haven't read 500 books, but you know what I'm on. I'm on. We are the original Hebrew people,
getting, right? The books that I was getting, you couldn't go in Barnes and Noble, none of them stores to get it. They real books dealing with black historians. And every book that I read, in the front and the back of it, he said, listen, everything that's contained in here is a fact. If not,
Yeah.
I could lose my license. Once they say that, I will read them books.
But if you really think about, you know, why we hate it so much, that was one of my questions that I researched.
Why we hate it so much? Because we the foundation of civilization. We develop mathematics. We develop writing. We develop art. We develop what you call that music that would sound like you screaming. Opera. We did all of that. It's a document fact that we have done that. Look,
but listen,
we don't hate it so much when they came to Egypt and tried to conquer Egypt. Queen Sheba came out on the balcony, took off her veil. She was so black, she looked blue, and she was pretty, and they fell in love with her.
But Lay, listen, I wanna touch on where we at right now, because where I come in at as the curator, I'm kind of done with pointing the finger at them. We hate ourselves right now, and that's what we got to really start turning around. We gotta turn this around. We gotta turn this around with the stuff that we're talking about. We have to educate our people that the reason why we hate ourselves is because of the programming that's been done to us. So right now, this is why the song "Get Down" is what it's doing. The reason I'm doing a curator is to actually awaken us so that we learn to love ourselves again as individuals, so we can collectively come together again. So that's the reality. Is we gotta get past this phase where we are right now, where it's like we stop doing what we're doing to each other. Yeah, because we're doing their work.
Again, I agree with that. You know, and things take time.
Yes,
but it has to have you got to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, you're going to plan to fail. So, you know, like according to the Islamic documentation, it took Prophet Muhammad 23 years to teach his people faith. Nothing else, this faith. So if it took him 23 years to teach his people faith, how long is it going to take us to reverse psychology on our people?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't think it's going to take long. So time.
Well, I mean, I'm giving you a general idea, but now we have technology and all of that. But what we got to do, we got to have our own system. We got to have our own TV station. We got to have our own apps. Then we have to get up collectively with these professors that dealing with psychology and get a plan from that. And everybody follow that plan. So when they open up their site and stuff, they put it out. Even if for a couple of minutes. When you do that in years, then things start to change. Just like James Brown. James Brown came out with his song, "I'm Black and I'm Proud." Then he had everybody saying that. So we have to pick up and do the same thing.
Carry the torch. We gotta keep the torch.
And we got to come out of the zone or the area or the places where we at, and we have to get out. Because when you leave here and get out to go to other country, you will see the difference.
Yes.
When people is poor, they look at some people out there is poor, but they love one another.
Yeah.
If they have an orange, I went to Egypt. We was in the city of Cairo. We were getting ready to buy some jewelry and stuff. When the guy heard us talk, he knew we wasn't from there. And he asked us who we are. I said, we Black African Muslims from the United States. Yo, he was trying to give us stuff. We said, no, man, no, we don't want it. We want to buy. He said, no. He was trying to give it to us. We said, nah, man, we pull out the money. We're going to buy it. Don't you know that man started crying, man? Then he had us crying. Then we came to a conclusion. You give us a little bit, we pay you. But I should have been thinking as being a Muslim, because when you go somewhere and you're a Muslim and somebody offer you something, you're supposed to take it. That's like
we gotta continue this conversation, you guys.
I gotta go. I got a meeting. Yo, my brother.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anytime you want to talk to me.
Yeah, definitely. We got to continue.
We got to finish this conversation.
We can
because
do that. I got
so much
that I have wrote countries back in '95, and all of them wanted me to come there.
Excuse me, like, can you read what you say? I didn't hear all that. What you say?
You know, when I was away, I did a lot. You know, I was in class and I came home with like 65 something certification certificates and all of that. And I was in a class called Import and Export, Mirror, dealing with business. And an African guy that was teaching us, he was teaching us, so we had to pick out a country and communicate with them so we could, that was our test. So I picked out a country, I picked out Ghana and deal with them with export, import. I told them who I was, where I was at, how long, so and so and so. And I gave them my vision of what I wanted to do when I came home. This is the first time that I reached out to any country. Man, they were sending me so much stuff. The people of the government and say, yo, when you get out, you let us know. We will send a plane ticket to get you over here and let you tour our place and the whole nine. Right
How can we continue something like that? Continue something like that, even though you was incarcerated at that time, but like that's something that I would love to do now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So what I'm saying, I wrote after that opened me up mentally. Then after that, after I got my grade, I start reaching out to a lot of countries. This is why a lot of countries that I go to now, it ain't like I just picked a country. I already studied these countries. That's why I want to go there. They got a country called Oman, Oman, and he's ran by an African king, a black African king, and it's one of the richest countries in the Arab country. And they don't even talk about him. If you see a picture of him, he got a sword with nothing but diamonds on it. And a sword, anytime you see a sword on a president or up above their head in the back, that means protection. They're going to protect their country by any means necessary. I got to go. I got somebody waiting for me. It's nice speaking to y'all.
I've been telling you that.
Hey, listen, we got the best fans in the world. And I want to say what's up to all of my fans. My party is on the 17th of this month. Come on, because we're going to be turning up. Yo, we even got DJ Self coming. DJ Self say, Lay, I'm coming to turn it up.
Last word to Van. We appreciate you. Let's give Van the last word, Lay. I know you got an appointment. Go ahead, Van.
Thank y'all for having me. It was an honor, and I love conversation because it's conversations about moving forward and pushing the culture forward. Definitely, please follow me on social media. BuddhaChief _ the brand is my IG. And of course, I'm gonna share the GoFundMe link with Jamila. Please support. If you see what I'm doing in the communities, we're looking to take this on the road and come to other communities and impact around the world with this. So definitely, I'll share the GoFundMe link with you, and please share it amongst your community.
Absolutely. Lay, we need to do a fundraiser for him.
Okay.
A fashion show. Yeah, we'll do a fundraiser.
You can talk about that.
Yeah.
And we get it out. Everybody probably going to hit you up for the address for the party. Put it up on your site. I already got it up on my site. And you know, one thing about me, when I give events and something like that, it's really not a whole lot of party. I like to network. I like to get people. I know people from government to own companies and so on and so on and so. And I connects everybody together. I can open the door, but I can't, I can't model for you or I can't act for you, but I can get you in.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
That's what I'm about.
So you guys, thank you guys for watching. We hope we entertained you, enlightened you, and educated you. So much love to BuddhaChief, Van, Lay, thank you so much. You always bring
We
it.
got the best fans in the world.
We got the best fans in the world. We got the best host, the best co-host, and we just want to bless you, Van. Everything you do, just let God cover you, bless your home, your finances, your children, your businesses, your music, everything. As you come and go, we ask God to be with you and just bless you abundantly. And we just thank you for being here.
Amen.
We just thank you for being here. Lay, I bless you as you come and go, and another year on this earth. I ask God to bless you and watch over you and keep you, and just keep you strong with your ideas, and your businesses just flourish, and let everything that you want flourish and come to fruition.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. And that's the same thing to you. And I want people to understand about life and death. And I always like to use certain things for an example. Look at the time of the Egyptian Empire. When the Pharaoh died, the Pharaoh had everybody that was working with him in the tomb. He had all his jewelry, all his diamonds, all of that in the tomb. When he died, he said they're going to the afterlife where he's going to be rich. 2,000 years, you find his tomb, what's in there? The diamonds and gold. So that means all the money you make, you ain't taking it with you. That money gonna be here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying, no telling when God gonna call for you. Because when it's time to go, it's time to go. They asked the prophet, when is the time of death? Prophet said, I don't know. Only God knows. So we have to enjoy our life and do what we have to do, and plan for our kids and everybody. Once you got that foundation for your kids, then you could go ahead and have a good time, have a good life, because that's what you work for. I lived my life. It was my last day. They say Christmas and all that. I don't believe in that. Christmas is for me every day. If I could, Father's Day is every day. Mother's Day is every day. Do not put one day on my mother and tell me this is the time to support my mother and that's it. No, I'm going to support.
That's why I say, show me some love. I ain't waiting until February.
Every day.
All right. Thank you, Lay.
And by us saying that, we have a saying on the radio station. We will go out saying peace.
All right. You ready? Oh, Buddha, we gotta go 1, 2, 3. We all say peace at the same time. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Peace out.
Peace.
Jamila, I'll see you later. I'll call you when I get back.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Buddha.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. God bless you.
God bless you too.